Should you buy a franchise in order to get your E2 investor visa to live and work in the United States? That's what we're going to talk about today. The E2 investor visa is really flexible and really exciting for business owners and their families. As a quick overview, the E2 investor visa gives you the right to live and work lawfully in the United States while you run your US-based business. It gives your spouse unrestricted work permission. It gives your kids the right to go to US public schools. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for families. If you want a full rundown of the E2 investor visa, go check out the videos I've been doing the last couple weeks in English and in Spanish that go over the eligibility requirements for getting an E2 investor visa in the United States. Today, we're going to talk specifically about the pros and cons of using a franchise as your US-based business. It can be really good, but there are also some things that I want you to be aware of that can be a little harder for your case if you buy a franchise and use it as your investment vehicle for your E2 investor visa. So let's talk about those things. First, let's talk about the pros of using a franchise as your US-based business to support your E2 investor visa. Now, a franchise can be phenomenal because one of the main things you have to be able to show to get your E2 investor visa is that you have a real and active business. Now, if you have a franchise, that means that your franchisor already has a proven business model. They already have steps you have to follow, and they already have goods or services that you have to provide. You know, if you purchase a franchise, that you are going to be able to show very clearly to immigration it's a real business. It exists, it has a plan, it has goods, it has services, it's real and it exists. And that's one of the fundamental parts of proving your E2 investor visa. So a franchise helps you with that in a lot of ways. Now, you usually also can really show a very clear investment. When you purchase a US-based franchise, the franchisor is going to have a list of exactly what you have to do and what you have to buy and what you have to spend money on before you can open that business, and then what you have to keep spending money on as your business is open. So for example, you might have to buy equipment, you might have to lease a storefront, you might have to pay for software licensing fees. So all of these things are going to be clear and obvious investments that you have to make to open your US-based franchise. And they're things that immigration really likes to see. So when we are putting together your application for your E2 investor visa, we have to show how you spent your money. And if you spent your money on other professionals or tax services or stuff like that, it can be harder to prove to immigration that you're really doing something. But when we can show you've purchased equipment, you have a storefront, you spent money on employees, stuff like that, that is a really big green light that shows immigration, this is a real business, we're spending real money, we're doing real stuff. So that's really helpful. And so your franchise is going to be able to give you a roadmap for spending money, for investing in the US, that's going to be really clear to immigration. And that is a big benefit of using a franchise for your E2 investor visa. All right, what's next? To get your E2 investor visa, we have to be able to show that your business is going to be profitable. It does not have to be profitable at the moment that we apply for your visa. But when we apply, we have to show that over the next 5 years, your business will in fact make a legitimate and real profit above just the salary and living expenses needed to support the E2 investor and their family in the United States. Because what immigration cares about is supporting businesses that are going to drive the US economy, that are going to support US economic activity. So when you have a franchise, your franchisor already has a business plan laid out for how you're going to make money. You might tweak it, it might be individual to your specific franchise and your specific location and your specific skills, but overall, your franchise is going to come with a plan for how to be profitable, how to make money, and that will allow us to show immigration your plan for being profitable in the next 5 years in a way that might be a little less complex or a little less uncertain than it would be if you started your own business or if you purchased another business that was already in existence that, say, wasn't already profitable, and you would have to show a clear path to profitability. So when you use a US franchise as the investment vehicle for your E2 investment visa, it gives you the ability to clearly and obviously show a 5-year business plan that will create a profitable company in the US and that will contribute positively to the US economic situation wherever your business is located. And then lastly, one of the fantastic reasons for using a franchise for your E2 investor visa business opportunity is because it can be a less risky and less cumbersome way to open a business if you are not feeling super confident about opening your own business. Say you've not run businesses before, or you've not run businesses of this type, or you're not feeling very confident about your ability to run a business in the US just on your own, then a franchise can be a really supportive opportunity for you because you have a franchisor who is going to guide you, who is going to tell you a lot of what you're supposed to do and help you create your functioning existing business. It's in the franchisor's benefit that your business function well because they get money when your business does well. So that can be a really good way for foreign investors to enter the US market with a little more support and guidance behind them than if they were just going to show up and start their own business. And so that's a really big benefit of using a franchise as your US investment vehicle for your E2 investor visa. Now, I want to talk about some of the cons here because I don't want you to think a franchise is the best thing ever and there are no problems. I don't need to think about it. I'm just going to get a franchise. A franchise can be fantastic, but you got to find the right one. So let's talk about the cons of running a franchise generally and using a franchise as your investment vehicle for your E2 investor visa. Now, one of the biggest cons of using a franchise for your E2 investor visa is that some franchises are good and some are terrible and hard to make profitable. There are a lot of laws around franchising in the United States that require your franchisor to disclose a lot of information to you up front before you purchase about how profitable their businesses are in the US. You need to look at that carefully. We highly suggest you meet with an attorney who is specialized in franchise purchases. We focus on your investment vehicle. We focus on your investment visa. Once you've purchased that company, we know how to get you the visa based on it. But I really recommend that you speak with an attorney who spends all day long analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of various franchises to make sure that you're purchasing a good one and that you know what you're purchasing. There are also business brokers or business analysts who specialize in franchises, and you can speak with them as well. But regardless, we really recommend that you do your research, do your homework. Do not just jump at the first franchise opportunity that looks good because remember that franchisor is going to make money off you. So they're marketing to you. They're going to make their franchise opportunity look amazing and like the best thing in the whole world. And it's going to cost you not much money and you're going to clearly make a ton of money if you're listening to the franchisor. Sometimes they're correct. Sometimes they're not. So you need to not take their word for it. You need to do your homework and make sure that if you're going to purchase a US-based franchise, you purchase a good one. And that you understand what you're getting and you understand how to make the business profitable and you feel confident that you can do that based on the franchisor's business model. So that's the biggest con, is making sure you get a good franchise and not a bad one. And some of them are bad. The second con from an immigration perspective is that you need to make sure that whichever franchise you purchase, you really have the right to control and direct that business and that it is not so heavy-handed by the franchisor that you can't do anything. Because immigration wants to know that you, the investor, have the ability to direct and control your US-based business so that you can determine whether or not it's profitable. If your franchisor is so prescriptive in what you can do that you can't really make any decisions, that might not be able to be a franchise that you can use to get an investor visa because you won't be able to show that you can really control and direct that business. And that's required to get your investor visa. That's something that we can help you with. We can help you figure that out. And a franchise attorney can as well help you figure out how much control do you really have here. And you need to know that before you move forward thinking, oh yes, this can be a franchise I can use for my investor visa, because you got to make sure you really can control it and that we can convince immigration that you're in control, not the franchisor. The third con I want to talk about is that your timing may not be entirely within your control. I speak with clients often who have an idea of the timeline that they want for their US immigration process. I want to be in the US by the time the next school year starts. I want to be in the US by December. It's really important to keep in mind that if you're going to follow a franchise process and purchase a franchise, the timing of that may not be entirely within your control. You're going to be working with your franchisor on purchases, on training, on getting your business open. So you need to be really clear on your needs for timing and your expectation of how quickly things will or won't move, and communicate that with your franchisor and your immigration attorney to make sure that you have a realistic understanding of the time frame that you want and the time frame that is possible, and to make sure that those things really can meet up, or if they don't meet up, that you understand why and what is a realistic expectation. So if you're owning your own business and it's not a franchise, you're more in control of that timing. If you're working with a franchise, you're less in control of the timing, and you're a little bit more at the mercy of your franchisor, how quickly they respond, how quickly they get you set up. And so you need to be aware of that. That can be a con. If timing is extremely critical to you and you want to move fast, a franchise might not be able to get you there. It may be, but you just need to be aware. And last but not least, I want to talk about the financial con of running a franchise. When you're running a franchise, your franchisor is going to ask for a lot of money from you. You're going to have consistent, ongoing payments that have to be made to that franchisor. And that may mean that your financial risk is higher, that you have to be quite aware of the money you're making and how much is owed to the franchisor to make sure that you really can make the money you need to make for yourself and your family, and that on top of the money you pay the franchisor, your expenses, the money that you're making, your business is still profitable. So it can be more financially risky to run a franchise because you always have those payments going to your franchisor that are never going to stop, that are going to keep going as long as your business exists. And those won't exist if you have your own company. So you have to be real comfortable with that information and feel confident that you can run your business in a way that's profitable, keeping in mind how much money is going to go back to your franchisor. And that goes back to the first point we made here. The first con is some franchises are good, some franchises are not. And this has to do with that. How much money the franchisor is going to take out of your business on an ongoing basis is going to heavily impact your ability to run a successful business. And that's why some franchises fail and some franchise models are terrible, because there's no ability for you to make money if all your money keeps going back to your franchisor. So you need to be really wide-eyed, awake, and clear about the financial responsibility to your franchisor, and make sure that you feel confident that you can meet that responsibility and still have a profitable company. So these are just some high-level pros and cons of running a franchise in the US and using a franchise as your US-based business. So let's go over them one more time before we end so you can keep these in your mind. Why is a franchise a fantastic opportunity for your US-based business to support your investor visa? It's fantastic because it comes with a clear business plan. It comes with the support of the franchisor. So it can be easier for you to start that business if you're not necessarily a person who has run a lot of businesses in the past. It can give you the confidence you need and the guidance you need to be successful. A franchise is going to come with a clear and obvious business model that you can show to immigration. And you're going to be able to show how you've spent your money pretty easily on goods, equipment, services, storefronts. So it can, in any number of ways, be really fantastic to support your E2 investor visa because it comes in this package that is easy to show to immigration. Hey, look, my business is real, it exists, and I'm going to make money, and I'm going to help the US economy. So those are some of the fantastic reasons why I like franchises as an investment vehicle to support an E2 investor visa. But keep in mind, it's not universally fantastic, and you always have to know the cons as well before you go into a situation like this. So if you're going to purchase a franchise, I want you to know, is this a good one? I want you to do your homework, talk to attorneys who specialize in franchise purchasing, talk to business analysts who understand what's a good franchise and what's a bad franchise, and really feel confident about everything you're getting into before you make the franchise purchase. I want you to know that you can control and develop the business. I want you to make sure that you can control and develop the business before you purchase that franchise, and make sure that the franchisor doesn't have so much control that essentially you're just following a rule book instead of actually making decisions for your business and your business future. I want you to know the financial risk involved and how much money is going back to your franchisor to make sure that you feel confident you can make your business profitable. Because remember, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, however long your initial e-visa is for, based on the country you're from, you're going to have to apply to renew that visa to continue to run your business. It's only going to work if your business is profitable. So you have to know that you can make your business profitable. And then I want you to know that timing is not totally in your control if you're going to run a franchise. And I want you to be comfortable with the timing of purchasing the franchise and applying for your visa, together with the timing you and your family need for your move to the US, and make sure those things fit together and you feel confident about that information before you purchase a franchise. So my name is Kalani Hawks Villafranca. I'm an immigration attorney based in Austin, and I help clients around the world get E2 investor visas to run their businesses in the United States. And we have a special focus on Mexican investors who are running their businesses in Texas where we're located that we can help you regardless of where your business is. If this sounds like something that is interesting to you, give us a call, 512-675-2945. And you and I can sit down for a 20-minute complimentary intro call where you can learn a little more about me, about my law firm, about some of the options that might be available to you at a very high level. We'll touch on those and see if we're a good fit for you, your family, and your business in the United States. And if so, we can help you move forward and figure out the next steps for your case. It's been a pleasure speaking with you guys as always. I'll see you next week.